started. But I got nowhere to go, so. Me and I first of all want to thank everyone for taking your time out for this morning. No one's really sure how to act or how to speak at these things, and trying to get some guidance, but no one's really had one like these in the community. And first and foremost, we want to say obviously thank you to Kadosh Baruch Hu, and in doing so, we want to say Kitzlach Tehillim. And in this Tehillim, we want to have in mind not only praise and thanks to Hashem, but also our prayers to the sick boys from Merkat Arav in Yerushalayim. So if you just join me. Shir Lamalos, Esa Einai El Chaharim Me'ayin Yavo Ezri. Ezri Me'im Adonai Osishmai Ba'aretz. Ayitain Lo Lecha Ayun Shomrecha. Hinei Lo Yanun V'Lo Yushan Shomer Yisrael. Anoi Shomrecha Anoi Silcha Yad Minecha. Yom HaShemesh Lo Yetecha Lo Yerech V'Layla. Adonai Yishmorcha Mikol Ra Yishmor Es Nafshecha. Adonai Yishmor Yisesecha V'Ech Mo'itav Yad Olam. Sh'Yirkuv Katol Ben Gil Rachel Shitris Shimon Yechiel Ben Tirza Melzam Nadav Eliel Ben Hadassah Smolov Eliel Ben Miriam Shimon Ben Rus Yahav Yishael Ben Tzipporna Yehuda Philo Ben Miriam. Only know from Simchas. Okay, so you can sit down. So the question is, what do you say to someone at this type of event? And fortunately, we have top 10 greetings that I received this morning. An awkward pause, handshake, and well, what's up? That's number 10. Number 9, awkward pause, handshake, and how you doing? A legitimate one. Number 8, you shouldn't have to make such Kiddush Hashems again. Number 7, Yasher Koyach. Number 6, this is very nice, but don't do it again. Number 7 is good to see ya. Number 6, 5, 4. Glad to see you and glad you're making this. Number 3, so what's new? Comma, everything. Number 2, this is one affair where you don't say Amir Hashem by you. And lastly, number 1, you're my hero. Alright, so I would like to begin by giving proper thanks. Now, this is twofold. Some of you may know I'm actually a cult member, and I do some crazy things like drive to Brooklyn to hear shiurim from our cult leader, Rabbi Kari Wallerstein. And recently I heard a shiur from him, and I can't remember when it was, and I hope I'm not stealing his lines this morning, but maybe he's going to have to come up with something else. But he spoke about, in life, you're faced with a moment, or I should say, the moment. And making the right choice at that moment is kind of, could be obviously life-altering, life-changing, for the good or for the bad if you make the wrong choice. So Mia and I have spoken at great lengths about our moment in capital letters. How grateful we are to have our eyes open and to be able to acknowledge and to realize that that moment was our moment. So the initial purpose of the Seudah is to give thanks to Hashem, to God, for delivering us through such trying times. So this brought up a few questions. When delivered from certain catastrophe and a clear miracle was done in your favor, there's a halacha that you need to say a proper blessing whenever you see the site where the miracle was performed. This was brought to my attention and I responded. I said, what miracle? I said, our fire alarms went off, we got up and out of the house, and there was not even any smoke in the house yet when we went to our neighbor's house. At the time, the fire was confined to one area. I called 911 and they responded within 4 minutes, and I thought they were going to put that fire out and it's going to be no big deal and whatever, we just have to work around it. we did what we needed to do, and I just thought to myself, what miracle? The alarm system worked. Is that a miracle? But this began me thinking. I listened to, I don't feel like I'm cheating around the wall team, but I listened to somebody else, probably Doug Foreman. So I'm not such a cult leader, whatever. But so Doug Foreman, he's got a series of lectures on Purim, and he has some very detailed explanation of Pasuk Shad. And the more I thought about it, what occurred during the holiday of Purim, which we're approaching upon, I think that the Weiss family just went through our own little Purim saga. Every scene and every act during Purim could have gone either way. Haman created the infrastructure to annihilate the Jewish people. Every turn in the story could have gone Mordecai's way or Haman's way. Which is why when Mordecai spoke so harshly to Esther, and at that moment he says, "This is your moment, Esther. You could either go to Ahasuerus and become and seize the moment, or you could fail." She starts giving excuses, and Mordecai says, "The Jews are going to be saved one way or the other. It's going to be with you or without you. Your decision." So it was clear in that story, God was clearly running the show and calling every shot. At that precise moment, Esther made the right choice. So thinking that this saving from the house fire was not 100% miraculous is pure folly. The only question is, was this Etzba Elohim or Yad Elohim? Was this the finger of God or was it the hand of God that saved us? It certainly was God, though. When you are able to have the proper perspective and see that all is clearly from God, then it's easy to see the seemingly tragic occurrence with just another moment, and that if you act one way, it will be truly tragic. But if you act with knowing it was from Hashem, then you make the proper choices and go about your way knowing it was from Hashem, and the rest is easy. When people ask me how I'm not devastated, etc., I say to myself, what I should be is jumping for joy in the real tragedy that was averted. And how bad this could have been. How grateful and thankful and humble I am before the hand of Hashem. Secondly, I doubt it would have been so easy and effortless to do what I felt was make the right choice at that moment if it was not for the community we live in. I believe the community as a whole faces its own moments, and without fail, 100% of the time, this West Hempstead community toes the line and performs beyond wild expectations. If people knew what occurred, even in the time the house was still smoldering and hot, people would be in awe and would not believe it. When I saw the community spring to action, it was beyond impressive, and that was what truly moved us. It made our lives and the rebuilding begin almost instantaneously, and I knew in that moment that we were going to be okay. Time and time again, this community bonds together in times of need, whether it be to visit an ailing janitor in the ICU and lift his spirits, which is not going unnoticed by his family, or getting together a kiddush for an ufrof that would not have occurred without it, or to send search parties into the woods. It humbles us to be on the receiving end. In Mitzvah Me'Eliyahu, where Dessa writes that to be part of any relationship, there is giving and a taking. Too much of one side is unhealthy. To have givers, then you need takers. For the past 2 months, we were the takers, and take we did. But the love and fullness of heart that this community gave was overwhelming. And for this, words cannot describe how truly thankful we are to everyone. It is clear that every moment that this community faces, it makes the right choice because of our Moradah Asra of Kellemer. I will never forget standing on the Lehman's front yard in the only clothes I owned at that time, wearing Richard Chiat sandals 2.5 sizes too small, in the rain, at 3:45 in the morning, standing next to Rabbi Kellemer, who was wearing his rabbinic finest suit and tie and hat, and was just with his head tilted looking at the flames. And there were no words to describe how I was wondering at that time, was he just getting up to go learning, or was he just getting home from learning? I know that firemen have their clothes by their beds, so they jump into their fire suits and they're off at the fire hydrant. I'm just curious to know, does Rabbi Kellemer have his clothes at the bedside that he can get up and quickly run to where he's needed? And fortunately, we have Rabbi Kellemer to share a few words with us this morning.